cross, I found my light. With Jesus by my side, I conquer every fight. Walking in faith, I won't be afraid. His love surrounds me, my fears will fade. Hope is my anchor, love is my guide. With Jesus I'll overcome, I'll never hide. A warrior of strength, in His name I rise. In a world of chaos, His love never dies.
She's an award-winning author, speaker, owner of GodlyGranny.com, and podcast host, sharing the truth with you. This is The Michelle Moore Show.
Hi, everybody. So glad that you're with us today. Happy Friday. I saw in the chat just a second ago, Christ Believer was saying, how has the week gone by so fast? I agree. I think it was her, maybe KM Sunshine. I don't remember. But anyways, I thought that was so true. It's Friday. Today I had to remind myself it was Friday. I thought it was Thursday. Oh, my word. Okay, so we have got so much to talk about. The first thing is, I do want to remind you, I think it was Christ Believer that emailed me. So I wanted to let you know, we have not released tickets yet for Beauty Boot Camp. And so just heads up on that. So nobody's missed getting tickets. It's not released yet. So we're good. But it's coming. I'm very excited. So much going on with that. I don't want to release the tickets until we have like a lot of the details. And so I could release the tickets and then you just don't know all the details and you know it's going to be good. You know what I mean? So anyways, and if y'all only knew some of the things I'm planning, it's so exciting. All right. So if you're watching and you missed the other day, I did want to let you know about Mark Taylor, just in case you didn't hear. His father passed away. So of course, keep him in your prayers. And of course, Linda Bammer as well. Linda is very sick and we just lift her up in prayer. And, just that she really believing for a miracle. And so she needs it. So Steve Jarvis will be here Monday. Wanted to let you know that. Mark your calendars. Friday, June the 19th is Dadaganza. That's going to be fun. That's where we give away all different kinds of prizes and gifts for daddies everywhere, including fur baby daddies. So don't forget that. And very excited, very excited. Okay, so I saw a viewer comment on the documentary we ran on Thursday that I wanted to share. This was on Rumble. And so this is from KM Sunshine. It was earlier today. I happened to see it about 13 minutes after she had posted it. And I screenshot it because I loved it. She says, oh my word. That's what I was talking about on the show the day before. The Republican Party is just as dirty as the Democrats. Exactly. And if you ever wondered, watch the Franklin cover up and you're just like, oh my gosh, they're all in on it. It's so crazy. That's why it is such a swamp. And that's why Julian Assange was right when he said if the swamp were to ever be drained, that it would be take out like 98% of Washington. Yeah. So she goes on to say they are absolutely both sides of the same coin. Yeah. Literally, I'm just disgusted with all of our so-called leaders. Yeah, they're not leaders. They're not. They are not leaders, in my honest opinion. They are a bunch of overdressed criminals. I'm sick of their games and psyops. Here we are in almost June 2026, almost 2 years into Trump's second term presidency, and none of these pedophile child traffickers have not been arrested. I watched this documentary and I was disgusted with the FBI, the CIA, and even the police department who were involved with this disgusting ring. A bunch of sickos. Yes, because you got to have the police involved. And this is not just in the United States, it's in the UK. Like when you watch different videos and different people's testimonies, gosh, back during the whole slow one on the spread, there was a UK version of 60 Minutes. And it was interesting because they had a gentleman who was in his 50s. I want to say his name was Richard. But they did a special on him and he talked about what happened to him, and he was from the UK. And it was so obvious that the police were involved. A lot of times it's the police that pick up these little boys from the orphanages. It's the police that take them to like the mayor's or the government officials' homes and transport them back and forth. It's so mind-blowing. It's crazy. So anyway, so I just wanted you to know about that. Okay. Oh, by the way, so Dadaganza, let's talk about Dadaganza. I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun. I love doing stuff like that. And so Dadaganza. So if for Father's Day, if you have not bought your Father's Day gifts yet, I did want to remind you, producer Ron's done all the work for you. He's already picked out his favorite goodies, like from a dad's point of view, for the mystery box that we have for Father's Day. And then we also have an extra large, an XL mystery box as well. So you can, it's 2 different price points, 2 different values. So the first one is like $75 worth of products for $60 plus your coupon code. What a steal. Not even a deal. It's a steal. And then there is about $122 worth of products in the XL version for Father's Day. And that's about $122 for worth of goodies that is on sale for $100. What a steal. Plus your coupon code. I mean, geez, you need me to buy the gift for you? So I wanted to let you know it's such a great deal and we just love it. But producer Ron has such great taste and so many things. Like he loves the way certain things smell. And he's always he was smelling. I brought something over to his home yesterday. I was like, smell this. And so I'm constantly doing that to my husband, my kids, Jocelina, Braylon, and of course, producer Ron. So anyways, okay. Are you signed up for the Michelle Moore Show newsletter? We do a weekly recap. And so it's so easy. So if you miss an episode, you're able to see it. So Saturday mornings, we send out a weekly recap. We just help you with knowing what's coming up. We put a calendar for the upcoming month in. It goes out on the first Saturday of every month early that morning. And so it's just a great resource for you. And so make sure you're signed up. Also, you never know, we might do something little special, I don't know, in the next week or so for those that are signed up for the newsletter. I don't know. I've got an idea. We'll see. You know how I am. But we've never done anything exclusive to the newsletter recipients. And I think we're fixing to do that. So if you're not signed up, you're going to want to be signed up. So how do you sign up? Well, we've made it easy for you. Okay. Here's what you can do. You can go to MichelleMooreShow.com and the very first button says the Michelle Moore Show newsletter. So you just click on that and it'll take you right to where you need to go to be able to sign up. Okay. So the link is there. All right. So have you seen this? So, okay. We talk about the craziness with college education and stuff, right? These costs and expenses for college education are so outlandish, but it's also about the degrees. Like, what are you getting a degree in? What is a fine arts degree? How are you going to monetize that? Like, seriously. So versus somebody who has spent 4 years in the workforce learning a trade and actually increasing their skills and working hard to become, an expert in whatever it is they're doing. And so, really it's President Trump in his first term that really opened my eyes to a lot of that and made me kind of take a step back, even with my real estate career, especially since I spent so many years specializing in new home construction and I was around so many blue collar workers. But it made me reflect on when you need an electrician, let's see what your attitude is then about electricians and blue collar workers, right? And so I know y'all can feel what I'm saying. So what about somebody who has a fine arts degree? Listen to these graduates on graduation day with fine arts degrees and what they are sharing, what they expect to be doing now that they've graduated.
Hi, my name is Layla. I'm getting my Bachelor of Arts degree, and I'm going to be a grocery store bagger.
I do it too. Ready? Action. Hi, my name is Julia Irwin. I'm graduating with a Bachelor of Fine Arts, and I'm going to be a barista at Starbucks for 20 years.
Hi, I'm Liv. I'm graduating with a Bachelor of Fine Arts, and I'm unemployed.
Hi, I'm Therese. I'm graduating with a Bachelor of Arts, and I'm going to be a housewife.
Hey, I'm Liv. I'm graduating with a Bachelor of Arts, and I'm going to be a sales associate in anthropology.
Hi, I'm Estella. I'm graduating with a Bachelor of Arts, and I'm going to be a stylist at Goriana.
Hi, my name is London Boyd, and my major is BFA, and I'm unemployed.
I'm glad they're so happy about their situation. It's almost as though they didn't plan ahead, or I don't know. It's very odd to me that they are laughing and thinking it's funny. And I don't know. I guess that's how the mindset goes for somebody who would actually get a degree in such a thing. Go spend 4 years. It's just crazy. Anyways, all right. Listen to what happened at a graduation ceremony where they used, and this just happened recently. So like within the last couple of weeks. So They used AI to announce all of the graduates' names. Didn't go well. All right, let's take a listen.
Graduates, everyone who is standing, here's what's happening. We're using a new AI system as our reader. So that is a lesson learned for us. What we were able to do, though, is each of you were able to walk the stage and get a picture, which is what I would hope would be the most meaningful. So I'm going to have to disappoint many of you. We will not be able to walk the stage a second time in order to have the name on the screen. You've handed over your cards, so we won't be able to do that. I am so sorry. There's plenty of opportunities, I hope, to take some really good pictures and to celebrate you with your loved ones as well. Yeah.
Are we going to do the rest?
Yeah. So I'll go let you do that. Okay. One more round of applause for our graduates.
Alrighty, everybody.
Oh my word. Did you see the video not far from where I'm located in Franklin, Tennessee, which is just south of Nashville? Did you see all the kids sitting in their chairs and they're at their high school graduation? And this was just like earlier this week. So they're at graduation. It's pouring down rain outside and they're making the kids sit in their cap and gown outside. I mean, I didn't have a kid there and I wasn't there, so it's fine. But they're making not just the graduates sit outside, but they're making all the parents and all of the loved ones. I'm like, this is complete. Where are people's common sense? And then did you see the video? There's a video of a guy where a kid was in high school. He was graduating. He wore jeans and boots. And the gentleman that was in charge, I don't know who he was, if he was the principal, I'm not sure, but he was some kind of government employee, and he would not allow the young man to walk the stage because he had on jeans. Now, here's my issue with that. People are like, well, there was a dress code. He knew. How do you know that's not all he could afford? You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't know about that one. I didn't agree with that. That boy was respectful. The man walked off while the boy was trying to talk with him. And the gentleman was extremely rude and disrespectful. The boy finished 4 years of high school, young man. And I just couldn't believe, just to me, since when do they tell you what to wear? That's just very odd to me. Deborah LW says, what a total waste of mommy and daddy's money, talking about the video that we were discussing earlier about the fine arts degrees. But I think that's part of the problem, Deborah. I think that's exactly it. It's mommy and daddy's money. I got to tell you, I really saw for myself just my own little thing. So when my kids were younger, I have two boys. For those of you that don't know, they're 20 months apart. And so when they were 5 and 4, I put them on an allowance. And so they had to be a productive member of the household, be respectful. There were certain things, and we never changed it. These were the things you had to do. And I didn't want to hear, ask one of the kids to do something and be like, that's not my job. So that's why I just worded it. You had to be a productive member of the household. You had to have a good attitude, and you had to do good in school. Okay. So those were kind of the grounds for getting an allowance. And however old you were was how many dollars you got every Sunday. So the payday was Sundays. And so when you're 5, getting 5 ones is a big deal. When you're 4, getting 4 ones is a big deal. Bottom wallets, their wallets for, 11 years stayed in the same spot in the kitchen. And the day they turned 16, their allowances went away. But oh, it was the best thing I ever did. I worked that allowance system. It was perfect. And anyways, and my kids save money. They're great money managers. Like they learned then, they grew up learning about the power of saving, how to save, how to wait for something you want, how to earn that and feel good about it. Like I would have them get the money out of their wallets, not me. Like I had them feel the pain of taking it out and or whatever, whether it was pain or excitement because they had earned it. But there's a lot of lessons to be learned in all of that. And so and I see it with my children now that they're 20 and 21. 21-year-old turns 22 on Monday of next week. So anyway, but it was interesting because they were young, maybe 5 and 6 at the time. The 6-year-old was asking for a toy and wanted me to buy it for him. We were at the store and I said, no, I'm not going to buy it for you. I mean, certainly, do you have enough money? Would you like to buy? He put that toy down so fast. Like it was fine for me to buy it, but he didn't want to buy it. So let that there's a lesson there, a really big one. And so it was like, it was fine for me to buy it, but he didn't want it that bad. And it's like, oh, okay. So and so he didn't get the toy. I didn't buy it, but you see how it works. And so, I wonder if these little girls and boys going to these fine arts, college degrees and all this stuff, spending tens of thousands of dollars, if they had to do it themselves, how that would work. I'm just saying, maybe mommy and daddy need to make sure they're not blowing their money. You see what I'm saying? Like mommy and daddy need to be, I'd really like to see all these people vote, because I can tell you right now, there's no way I'd be funding a fine arts degree. But my kids wouldn't ask for that anyways, because they themselves just wouldn't do that. It's so crazy. Anyways, so let's see. Die Laughing says, OMG, a worthless women's studies degree, right? Transgender studies degree, perpetual unemployment line. Parents must be so proud. Yeah, but they let it happen. And so I'll be like, not on my dime, you'll have to figure out how to make that happen. And oh, by the way, you can go on ahead and move out too, because you're really going to figure it out, because I'm not going to have crazies living in my house. Doesn't their gown cover the jeans up? Okay, so that's a great question, WR Carr. So I saw the video and I kept looking like, what was he wearing? And I wanted to see the jeans, and they were nice jeans. And so, yes, for the most part, great point. Yes. And so there was a little bit, maybe a foot or so. He was a tall boy anyways, but great point. It was so absurd. And the fact that the man walked away, it was so disrespectful and so just awful in every way, just so wrong. My girls' hot summer jobs, packing tomatoes and all kinds of different jobs. They need to learn to work and be productive. That's right. Amen. That's right. The day that my kids turned 16, they had a job and they went and worked at the grocery store. And so worked for their father, who runs grocery stores. And, they work their butts off. And so, and they're hard workers. And now they run grocery stores themselves. And they were some of the company they work for, they were some of the company's youngest store managers ever. And they manage people that are 2 and 3 times their age. And so it's insane, like the responsibility that my sons have. But we used to own a grocery store, my husband and I did. So my husband knows the grocery business inside and out and left and right. So he's taught that to my sons. And then they've worked hard. I mean, you can lead the horse to water, but you can't make them drink it. So you can give a kid an opportunity. It's up to them to make the most of it. There's plenty of kids we all probably know and examples that we could share where people squander opportunity left and right. I've got family members like that, where it's like they had way more things given to them and they squandered it, versus somebody like me that I had to work hard for everything I've got, right? And so there's many of us, though, that we've seen people with great opportunities and squander those opportunities like it's no tomorrow. So Anyways, Christ Believer says schools don't teach children how to be responsible and how to count change or economics. So I'm going to tell you something. So I went today to the store and to a place to get a little drink that I wanted to get, they call it like a nutrition drink. Okay. So it comes to, I think my order came, I know exactly what it came to. It came to $18.31. So I go, oh, I've got a penny. So I dig into the bottom of my purse and I pull out a bunch of change and I see 3 dimes and a penny immediately. So I'm like, oh, I got 31. Oh, the poor girl. I mean, she's either a graduate from high school or in high school or in college. It's hard to tell. But anyways, she's somewhere around there. I think she was probably in college or is. So anyways, so she looked at me like a deer in a headlight. I go, it's $2 that you owe me. Poor thing. She didn't know what to do. I was giving her 31 cents. My bill came to $18.31. I kid you not. I kid you not. You could have been asking her to, I don't know, fly to the moon or something. I don't know. It was just crazy. Crazy. Okay. Have you ever thought about if a mama goes to the pediatrician and asks for the insert? Remember we were seeing all these videos during the whole COVID and how people would go to the pharmacy and be like, hey, where's the insert? And they would open up the piece of paper, a huge piece of paper, and it was empty. The inserts are supposed to be in the boxes with the drug that, and the shots that people get. Okay. And that they're giving to your children. Well, there's a mama. She goes to the doctor. She asks for the insert. And listen to what she gets in return. Let's see.
And I can give you the phone number. That's the only thing that I can give you.
I don't understand. You're telling me that it's safe to give my 10-year-old this vaccine, but you won't let me look at the ingredients in it?
Yeah, that's the only thing that I can tell you. Did they give you the website earlier?
No. What website? For the CDC? Yeah, I know how to navigate the CDC, but
Did they give
I'm
you
here and y'all are telling me, oh, it's safe to give your daughter this. So I want to read it. I want to see what's in it.
I could give you the number and then you can call them.
Okay, sounds crazy. Y'all don't keep those? Y'all just throw them away, or why would we not be able to make a copy of that?
I can't give you a copy of that.
But why?
Because I can't.
I mean, it's for what reason though? It's not against HIPAA. It's not.
Well, because I guess you've been discharged from the practice already.
Right, because I refused a vaccine.
Yes, and I can't give you anything anymore. Once you're discharged from the practice, I can't give you any more information. So the only thing I can tell you is you can call that 1-800 number.
Yeah, but if I give her this shot, then they would see her as a patient again. So I want to read about the vaccine that y'all are telling me is safe to give her because she's been a patient here for 10 years.
If you go on that and on the website, you can look it up under the CDC, and they'll give you everything that's on there. Okay. Everything that we have on the books, it'll give you that on there too.
Okay.
Did you get the website?
So let's say I was still a patient here and my daughter hadn't been kicked out and I asked for the vaccine insert, you still wouldn't give it to me?
They'll give you the information that we have here.
But y'all print that. I don't want that. I want what comes in the box.
Yes, I can't give you that.
Okay.
Yes.
That's a little strange. You think I could get it at the health department?
Probably.
Okay. Maybe I'll try down there.
Yeah, but you can. But that's why I'm giving you. That's why I'm giving you this website. And the website, you go on it, and you'll go directly onto it.
Okay.
That's a B. Yeah. So that's the phone number and that's the website.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
So did she not have the insert? Like she's got the shots there to give out. Like their little candy canes. So what's the deal there? But she's going to give the mom the runaround and you got to go to a website and like, what's up with that? Yeah, it's absurd. So they don't want moms asking apparently, and they're going to make it difficult for us to actually follow through is what it looks like, but it's very odd to me. I wanted to share with you also. So look at Carol from over on YouTube. She says, my grandchildren learned the value of money from a young age as well. Chores were called contributions, which was age appropriate. They were amazing young people, or they are amazing young people. That's great. It's great to hear. Okay, so let's talk about this whole thing with the insert. I want to go back to something I saw on Facebook yesterday, came up in my feed, and it was talking about, oh, we're on a delayed shot schedule. I've heard it all now. So we're going to delay the poison, but we're going to let the kids have the poison. It's scary, some of the crap that we hear these days. It's just so scary. Okay, so woman is upset at a man at a grocery store, and it's about what he said to her daughter. Well, what did her daughter do, and what did he say? Let's take a look.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Did you say that my daughter is rude?
Yeah, I did. She gave me the finger.
Well, I wouldn't have done that if he wasn't being slow.
Are you serious, Amelia? Well, listen, whether she gave you the finger or not, then maybe you should have gotten out of her way.
Yeah, I know. I'm old and I'm kind of slow.
So that means that you get to tell her she's rude?
Well, she's rude. She's rude.
But she's not rude. She's only 7.
Well, I thought she was being rude.
But were you in her way?
Probably.
So don't you think that maybe you don't own the store just because you're driving a cart? I think that you think all this is funny, and it's not funny, sir.
Well, I'm her elder, and you need to show me a little respect.
Well, maybe you need to not think that you own the store because you're driving a cart.
Okay. All right. So I was raised with my grandparents, and from a very young age, and I have to say that was a completely different generation. So let me think here. So we're talking about 40. So my grandparents right now would be in their 90s, to kind of give you an idea of where they fall in the generations. Okay. And so my mother was 20 when she had me. I'm not really exactly sure how old my grandmother and grandfather were when she was born, but I know that my mother was not the oldest. She was the middle of 5. So they already had a couple of kids before she came along. So it wasn't like they were 16, is my point. So, okay. My grandfather, I don't know if I've mentioned this a time or two, but I want to say this. So my grandfather was command sergeant major over Fort Campbell and was about 6'2", 6'3" tall, big guy. That side of the family, they're really big people. Grandmother played basketball in high school. So one side of the family, grandmother's 4'11". The other side of the family, that grandmother was like 5'11". And so, okay, so you can only imagine, like I only saw my grandfather with a military cut. By the time I came along, he was already retired. And so, but he always wore a military haircut my whole life. And so, and from every photo I've ever seen, like, but I mean, you can only imagine how somebody like that would be. And so this was back when children were supposed to be seen. This woman said, she's not rude. She's only 7. So 7-year-olds can't be rude. 7-year-olds can't lie. 7-year-olds can't be inappropriate. 7-year-olds can't be disrespectful. I mean, like, what? And so I have to say, I've been making this point over and over here lately. I've been making a few points on X, which is formerly known as Twitter, about some of these kinds of things. Like, these women, this is not just, a lot of people want to point to men, and people never want to really point out women. And so I've been pointing out some women lately, I guess the last couple of weeks. And it's like, some of these women are really the problem. I mean, I hate to say it. And this woman, oh my, I mean, he was right. And she should respect her elders. And this woman is exactly what's wrong with her daughter. It's the mothers. And so we are seeing a lot of people that are coming up, and they are being the product of their upbringing. We have family members like this. Like I tell my kids, like, well, your cousin such and so, they're just a product of their upbringing. You can't be too upset with them because it's really their parents' fault. And so I hate to say it, but in a lot of cases, that's the case. And so that daughter listens to the way that she talked to that man, and it only reinforces that rude behavior. That daughter learned nothing. And so it's so insane, so disrespectful. That man, she's like, I think you think it's funny. I think he probably couldn't believe what he was hearing. It's a completely different mindset. It's a completely different generation. And I have to tell you, it makes me so sad and grieved that we are losing I do believe the greatest generation in a million different ways. They're the greatest generation, a million. And if you are fortunate enough to either be in that generation and you happen to be watching the Michelle Moore Show, praise God for you. I honor you. If you got to live around grandparents that were in that generation and are the way that I'm talking about, like my grandparents, like I was telling producer Ron right before we went live, we were talking about that video and I said, I don't know about you, Ron, but I said, I was like told kids were to be seen and not heard from at the dinner table. And if you accidentally got spanked, because when my mother and I moved in with my grandparents when I was 5, she still had a younger brother and sister still in high school. So we all lived in the same house. And fortunately, my grandparents were, at the time I didn't know they were well off, but I lived in a big house and, all of that growing up. I was definitely taken care of very well as a child. I remember crying at the dinner table one night because I had to eat steak again and cried and said, I just want some barbecue chicken. And so I look back and just laugh and go, wow, we just didn't know. My aunt and I talked about that one time, that how we ended up realizing that not everybody lived like we did, because you only know what you know is by going to friends' houses and realizing, wow, they live in a trailer that is really small. And so we learn, you only know what you know. And so, but my grandparents, they provided for me very well. And I was very blessed. And I have no doubt about that and am very grateful for it. But there was no foolishness. And, but I remember watching one of my mother's my aunt and uncle, younger siblings, one of them got a spanking, and like they still get spankings in high school. And my grandparents called them beatings. And so, but they had some wild kids. So looking back, I can understand now why, but a lot of drama at that point in the house. But anyways, and so, but if one of them ended up being innocent, my grandmother would just say, well, that was for GP, which meant general purposes. And she wasn't sorry. There was none of this craziness that we're seeing right now. And so you've got these 5-year-olds that are running the house and their houses and being able to do whatever. And it's a true disservice to children. And that's what's unfortunate. And it's a disservice to society because other people, I remember when I was pregnant with my first child, and I remember saying to my husband, if we could just raise children that other people want to be around, because that tells you so many things. Like that one statement wrapped up a whole bunch of stuff in one statement. And so, because nobody wants to be around a brat, nobody, you know what I mean? And so you want to be around somebody that's well behaved and who can carry on a conversation or whatever. And so I remember saying that to my husband at the time, like when it came to being around other people, and how they interacted with other people. KM Sunshine says, hold on, producer Ron, put something else in and it made it pop up. So I handed a teller at a bank some rolled up change. Oh boy, I know where this is going. Like $10 in dimes and so forth. And she had to get her manager over to count it out and then deposit it into our account at the bank. I kid you not. Oh, I believe it. Oh yeah. I've had the same girl at the bank twice now mess up my stuff. And it's like, this is wrong. I never seen anything like it. And I don't even know how the girl got the job. And she's still there. I can't understand it. Deborah West said, I hope that she didn't get her kid vaccinated without the insert. I smell skunk. Right. I don't think I would find that hard to believe. But look, I couldn't believe what I was reading last night or yesterday sometime on Facebook about these parents and the attitudes too. I just don't even bother. I don't even know how it came up in my feed. Oh, by the way, too, I noticed this week I was subscribed to a group I never subscribed to. I would have never subscribed to this group. And I have no idea how I'm subscribed. Like at this point, and I got to tell you, I would never join any kind of women's groups or anything. I couldn't do it. I couldn't be around people like that. And look, a lot of these women's groups, it could be a conservative women's group, and I can't be around them either because they're just crazy. They're crazy. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I know you do. And so, because somebody says they're conservative doesn't mean they're really conservative and that they're really, I hate to say awake, but they're not awake. They don't know what they're talking about. And a lot of people that claim to be awake, not awake. They're not. They're not. They're still getting shots. So you're not awake. I mean, are you? And you just don't care about poisoning your kids? Is that what's going on? Or are you just stupid or what? Like, I mean, that I just can't do it. I just can't. So I have people that ask me to offer kinds of things, and I'm like, no, thank you though, but no. And I really don't have time, but I wouldn't anyways because I just can't deal with it. I can't be around it. And look, if you're watching the Michelle Moore show, my people, the Michelle family, my tribe, y'all, I would be shocked if y'all could deal with it too, because at some point, and that's why you're here, because we know. And I just don't, and I was talking, I hate to be a name dropper, I'm not trying to drop names, but Linwood said something that I thought was really interesting a couple of weeks ago. He and I were talking, and he made a comment, and he said, I have lost all interest in the things of this world. Yes. How many, I mean, I don't really care about buying clothing. If y'all knew like how little I spend on stuff, like my whole priority system, everything is so different than it used to be. And I'm so thankful. I'm so glad. I don't want to go back to that. I don't spend a lot of money on clothing. And actually, I'll tell you what I've been thinking about. Because Godly Granny, well, there's a lot of things I've been thinking about with Godly Granny, but I've been thinking about, we're all born for a purpose. And, God, we're not here by accident. I want you to hear me. This is a Good Friday message, so you can chew on it all weekend and really take it in. And that is, you are not here by accident. You are here. God had a plan and a purpose. Might have been a surprise, like I was to my parents, come to find out. But I was not a surprise to him. And neither were you. He knew you before your mother ever even laid eyes. When you were in your mother's womb, he knew you. He knew you. So I just want to say, you are here for a plan and a purpose. And I always encourage people, pray, ask God. Like, I've had so many people say to me through the years, way before the Michelle Moore show even, I just don't know what I'm here for. I don't hear God. I don't this, I don't that. And they are so like lost in what they're supposed to be doing with their lives. And they have this yearning to know. And I'm always like, well, pray and ask. We all have different callings on our lives. We have some similar ones. Like we're all called to share the word of our testimony, right? And we're all called to, really bring people to Christ, like share the good news, right? And so, but then we all also have different callings and giftings. I could never do what producer Ron does. If y'all even knew, like I couldn't do it. And so, and he can't do what I do, I'm sure. And so, and in fact, he tells me, he's like, oh, I'm exhausted listening to what you do. So, but it's the same for me. I don't want to hear about it either, because it's his thing. But that's the point. We all have different talents. We all have different things that we're created for. And so I just want to encourage you, like, if you don't know, there's two things that I tell people. The first thing is pray and ask God. Like, God, use me, ask God to use you and to show you what he wants, how he wants to use you and what he wants you to do with your time and your talents and your giftings that he's given you, right? Your resources, your money, your whatever. And then the other thing that I tell people is I'm like, stop and sit down and think. I want you to really think, okay? And if you would say, Michelle, I don't hear God. I've heard this so many times from people. This is what I want you to do. I want you to sit down and I want you to think about it. And I want you to think back to the last thing that God told you to do. And I'm almost certain that you haven't done it. That's why you're not hearing from him. You just got to do that part. And so if you'll do the last thing he's asked you to do, I bet you start hearing from him. Okay. And so, but it's so important, that we live that life of not just obedience, but also I think obedience brings significance. And that's what I've been thinking about is, when I had a friend who turned 50, he said, and he's 10 years older than me. And so now he's in his 60s, early 60s. And he said when he turned 50, he talked about wanting to live a decade of significance. He was calling his 50s a decade of, or like his time of, significance. And I've been thinking about that recently now that I'm in my 50s. I'm 53. And the other day I was talking to Steve Jarvis and I go, well, I'm only 53. And he started laughing and he goes, oh my gosh, only. And so it's just all in the way you present it. And so anyways, it was so funny. But it's like, I've been thinking about that and thinking about like why God asked me to do what we're doing with Godly Granny and touching people and helping people. Like we're making a real difference. I had the best news. So I have these friends, we help people that we, as in everybody, you can help someone that you don't really know, or you could help somebody or do something that helps somebody that you know really well. Well, that's what happened. So I was on Facebook this weekend and I think it was Sunday. I meant to take screenshots and I could go back and get them, but it was so awesome. So I have a friend and they're dear friends. I love them. And so it's Barbara and Tom. And so I used to work with Barbara years ago in new home construction. Just a wonderful woman, just a great godly woman. And I just love them and just deeply. And they're just dear friends, but they moved. And so they don't live in the area anymore, but we still stay in touch. And so he and I are friends on Facebook, just like she and I are. Well, he had posted that he had been struggling with prostate cancer. And he talked about his numbers. And then he started taking ivermectin and fenbendazole. And now he's completely healed. So I comment about what fabulous news, praise God, praising Jesus, and he comes back and says, well, how I learned about it was your show. And I was just like, oh my gosh, that just blesses me, all our work. And he says, I learned about it a couple of years ago. And he said, so when I got the diagnosis and like his numbers in the beginning were off the charts, he's completely healed. He's completely healed. And part of his healing journey, he used ivermectin and fenbendazole. Isn't that amazing? And so you just never know. And so, just so good. It's just so good. Okay, so we'll move on. I digress. So, okay, Die Laughing says, my grandparents would have put a boot so far up my behind if I was ever disrespectful or impolite to anyone. Thank you. The greatest generation. It's called discipline and it was effective. # snowflakes. Yeah. Die Laughing. I have to tell you, every time I see your username, I laugh because I always think about, for the longest time, y'all, I didn't know how to say her username. So I used to say DI Laughing. Grammy, I got your email today. So good. I have always told my husband, I may live in this world. I am not of this world. Amen, sister. I'm the same way. KM Sunshine says, amen, Michelle. We are here for a reason. Unfortunately, too many people are interested in religion and not a relationship. God, that's true. It's the R word. I don't like the F word. And I don't like the M word, which is magic, is what I call it. And so I don't like when people go, oh, it's magical. It's magic. I don't like anything Disney related because it's magic. The wizard, Disney, Mickey Mouse was a wizard. Think back to all that stuff from even the very beginning. So if you really pay attention, and so when it's all steeped in witchcraft, if you think about it, which is not of God, it's not of Yahweh. No, he's not in it. And so, Christians believers, Christ followers have no business in any of that. And so but yeah, that's right. That's so good. And then the R word is religion. We were made for relationship. And all of this stuff, as we've been learning and talking about it, all of this stuff is steeped in man-made Khazarian mafia, funded by the Rothschilds, religion. All right, Flygirl61 says, the pediatrician is pressuring my son and a daughter-in-law to give my newest granddaughter the hepatitis B shots. They were even asking her, under the influence of pain meds in the hospital, for consent. That's why you never leave a loved one in the hospital, no matter what, no matter what's going on. You never leave a loved one in the hospital alone. And you track what medicines they're getting and the schedule yourself. I can tell you some nightmare stuff with my son when his accident happened, and how they treated a 10-year-old little boy. They'll do that to a 10-year-old little boy. They'll do it to anybody. I learned those lessons. I've been talking to them about the poisons in the jabs and just praying that they listen. Praise God. Yes, you just keep praying, Fly Girl, because it's going to take prayer, because there's a war going on for that little girl. Okay. So with all that said, the European Heritage Society X page, on that account, I had not heard of them, and somehow they came up in my feed. I don't know if the post got shared by somebody that follows me and I follow, or whatever. I don't know, but somehow this video came into my feed. It's very hard, because for me, and I told producer Ron, this is a very hard video for me. I am very tenderhearted. And when it comes to children and animals, y'all know I love Flashmore. Look, nobody would have a fur baby line with Godly Granny that doesn't just absolutely love animals. Okay. I think it's very obvious that I am passionate, not just even about children and animals, but about men and women too. I wouldn't have Mama Ganza or Dada Ganza. I wouldn't work this hard. Y'all, it's crazy how much we work, but there is a grace on it. And I don't begrudge it. It's all good. And I think actually I've come to realize that in a lot of ways, a lot of what I'm doing is a great creative outlet. I remember years ago, I had a boss that said that I was very creative, and I was like, what? I'm creative? You see me as creative? She's like, yeah, you created this whole system. And she showed like all the other sales agents. We had like 40 people that worked or more in the sales department. And she showed off the system I created for myself. And so, she was like, nobody else has ever done this. This is great. And so it's very creative. And so I was just surprised that I thought of creative people as somebody who could draw something, in art class or something. Those fine art graduates, those students. I'm being bad. So anyways, I don't know. I'm tenderhearted. I don't know. I care about people. I just care. I think God's gifted me with that. And so anyways, because I think it's a gift, but you have to be careful, because it can weigh you down, but it can also drive me. And that's what happens. It drives me, like the helping people and their fur babies, because I know you all love your fur babies like I do. I talk about it all the time. Y'all are like blowing my mind right now with how much fur baby wellness honey y'all are buying. And I just laugh, because I'm like, that's my people. They care about the fur babies. And when we come up with God's honey for fur babies, the honey to have your fur babies take, out of all the honeys in the world, this is the one. And so we make it a fur baby wellness honey. Y'all are buying it up. And so it's like, that's my people. They care about their babies, their fur babies and their babies and their grandbabies and, and everybody else's babies. That's why we all get upset. Just like with the lady, what are we doing? We're going, well, I hope she didn't give that baby. We're worried about the baby. And we don't even see the lady's, face half the time or whatever. And so, but that's the point. We care. So this is the European Heritage Society. We're going to show you the video. And then I'm going to read you what was written by them so that you have the context of what you just saw. But I want you to see the video first. Okay, so This is so horrifying. So let's take a look at the post. Producer Ron, if you would please. So says multiculturalism sparks innovation via beautiful cultural class. East Essex farmer, after his sheep suffered repeated rapes from new Pakistani neighbors, didn't complain about immigration. He innovated protective vests for the livestock. Pure adaptation. And it says critics call it racist for stigmatizing traditional practices, but progressives know better. So this man was a farmer who owned these sheep, and it says critics call it racist. So he's being now accused of being racist because he ended up with sheep that he owned that suffered repeated rapes from Pakistani neighbors. In other words, people who are in his country, I'd be interested to know if these people are there lawfully, legally, or illegally. I think we would all probably know what the answer is. And so that's what's happened. And he's being called the racist. That's what's going on. Thank you, Producer Ron. That's what's going on. That's what's going on. That's what he had to do. And that those sheep, it's disgusting. It's absolutely horrifying what's going on. And it will come to America if we don't do something about it. Okay, so talking about disgusting and horrifying, 60 Minutes, there was a 60 Minutes episode, and I thought this was interesting. So it's a segment, and we're going to, and Producer Ron, I want to remind you to keep me on the screen with this because we're going to stop it in a couple of spots. It's a little bit longer, but I want to point a couple of things out. I want to make sure you don't miss. This is a 60-minute segment with a guy who's I called in my notes, I said with a pedophile sicko. So let's listen to it.
That's what PI was all about, the Pedophile Information Exchange.
PI was an organisation for people who had a sexual attraction to children, and we thought our illegal interest in children ought to be made legal if it concerned relations with young people who were consenting to a relationship, if they were willingly involved. The age of 4 came into it, insofar as children by that age are normally verbal and can normally say whether they are liking a particular kind of activity or not.
You believe and advocate that it should be okay for an adult to have consenting sexual relations with a child aged 10, so long as it doesn't involve penetrative sex.
Okay, so he's trying to say that, you know, when all this was discussed, that the age of 4 was brought up, he believes at 10, you can have sexual relations. So now they're going to get into wordsmithing. Okay, he's going to get into wordsmithing. Remember, they always wordsmith. And so this is so disgusting. That's why I put down that he's a pedophile sicko. Okay, so let's keep going.
Well, the emphasis here is on consenting, the willing, free, uncoerced.
I want you to ask yourself, can a 10-year-old or even a 4-year-old, okay, but let's say 10-year-old be willing and not coerced and still be thinking about sex at 10 when the hormones and stuff, you know, haven't really kicked in? I mean, I don't know about you, but when I was 10, I was on my big wheel and my bicycle and I was playing with Barbie dolls and she had a pink Corvette, and I was listening to music. I didn't know what an abortion was. I didn't know any of this. I was a little girl playing with her friends and her Barbies and her stuffed animals, and I would have a chalkboard with chalk and teach my stuffed animals math. Okay, so let's keep going.
Involvement of the child, yes.
Can I ask you this, though? Do you believe still that the majority of children at the age of 10 can communicate their consent to a sexual act?
Yes, I do, yes. I don't see that is a problem, communicating their consent.
What constitutes consent?
The willing involvement of a child. It's really quite simple.
But how does one judge that?
That is a matter, as it is with adult consent, for the people involved. I keep saying, by the way, sex with children. It's not sex with children. It's sex, most people think, is sexual intercourse, penis in vagina, and a guy banging away until he gets orgasm. That's not what I mean by sex with children.
What are you talking
about?
And
I don't think we should talk in this sort of emotive fashion about sex with children.
What is a less emotive term?
Erotic contact with children.
And what would that involve?
Well, it might involve touching or masturbation. If they were traumatized, they wouldn't have gone along.
You see, that's another lie that pedophiles spin. They say that the kids aren't traumatized.
No, wait a moment.
Believe me, they are traumatized, Tom.
Yes, but many years later, as a result of being told...
Okay, so this is what he's trying to say. He's saying that at the time that the sex act happens, that they're not traumatized. So the 10-year-old's not traumatized. The reason the 10-year-old isn't later traumatized is because, well, people told him to be traumatized. He learned, oh, I should be traumatized, or she. And so they learn later, years later, like when they're an adult, that, oh, when this happened at 10, I should have been traumatized. This is what the guy is claiming.
It matters because they would not have been traumatized but for being told that they had been abused.
So this is the point. You'd say that it's not the pedophile that's caused the abuse, it's the responsible authorities like the police and their parents.
Yes, absolutely.
So you don't accept that having sex with a child can cause any kind of...
Let me tell you, we're getting peculiarly hysterical. Many years later, when people are told that they have been abused and it keeps being rammed into them from the media all the time, then that is the feeling they come to get. They come to think, I must be traumatized because people keep telling me so.
Okay,
that's how it happened.
Can I put to you, there's something in your book. Mm-hmm. There's a section in your...
Okay, so real quick on that. So he's saying that's how it happens. That's how they get traumatized when they're told when they get older that they should be traumatized. Do you see where this is going? Because people like you and me is who they're saying is doing the telling that they should be traumatized. So I don't know. I see this coming as what we say is the truth is going to be called, oh, I don't know, hate speech. Just saying, it's coming.
Book where you describe the scenario of a little girl sitting on a man's knee.
Yes.
And you describe approvingly how sexual relations with that little girl can be, quote, negotiated by hints and signals, such as complimenting her on her knickers and testing her response.
Yeah.
And what would be the adequate response from that little girl, Tom?
Enthusiasm.
What would that constitute? How would the little girl show you enthusiasm for you wanting to have sex with her?
Let's move away from...
No. Let's stick to this issue.
Well, all right. Let's stick with the issue, but let me address it in my own way.
The little girl's sitting on your knee, and you've just told her, I like your knickers.
Let me address it in my own way.
What does that little girl do to indicate that she's willing to consent to have sex with you, Tom?
How does somebody indicate willingness to have consent to anything?
A little girl cannot possibly be a consenting partner in that kind of power relationship. She's sitting on your knee, for God's sake.
Yes, she can.
You're an adult.
Yes, she can.
You use the term enthusiasm. What does that little girl do to indicate that she's enthusiastic?
I think that we're going round and round in circles.
No, what is the answer?
We're going round and round in circles. I've given you my answer multiple times, so I'll finish there.
Which is a non-answer. You just can't answer.
Well, you think it's a non-answer. I think it's an answer. All right.
Okay, so here's what I would say about this too, is that over the last 6.5, 7 years, I would tell you that I had no idea that people like this existed really to this degree. And I would say, but hey, I got to give it to him. At least he went on camera and he was honest about it. You know, I have to say he had some courage. But I think there are a whole lot more people that are like he is. So let that sink in. This is one of the many reasons that I talk about not putting your kids in daycare and homeschooling your kids, because nobody can be trusted. And if you have any doubts about that, I would say go back 2 weeks on my ex account and move forward, or go back 2 weeks from today. And you'll see many examples of women, even we're seeing women that lose it and they kill and do all kinds of stuff to children that are in daycares, people that the kids that they're babysitting in other people's homes, where parents have put up or they abuse them. And they get abused to the point where they have brain damage. I mean, there are so many things that are going on in this world. You cannot trust your children with these people. And so it's just the same thing with the shots. It's just like with the lady. I was just waiting. I thought, what in the world is this one? Oh, we're on a delayed shot schedule. I'd never heard of such nonsense in my life. But KM Sunshine says he needs the death penalty. And so I'm just saying, I think if we really knew what was going on and how they are trying to position things, we would have we wouldn't believe it. I think it would be very hard for us to believe it. And so this is just a glimpse. That's why this video made the cut, because it has to be shown and this has to be discussed and we have to be aware. And so that we can, make sure that we don't see this get any more further down the road and think, oh no, there's no way. Look at what's happening even with the data centers. The data centers, this is craziness that's going on. It's been, by the way, I mean, I just love how climate change has evaporated overnight and data centers are perfectly fine all of a sudden. I mean, we've had so much stuff just shoved down our throats about these data centers, and all of a sudden we get to pay for them. And so it's like, it's insane. So let's listen to this one lady. She's a 28-year-old lady and she's in the fight of her life. She's down in Georgia. It's not like, oh, it's up in New York and the crazy is happening, or Michigan, or no, Georgia. Take a look.
My name is Brianna Rice, Robinson Road. Speaking for myself, I'm 28 years old. While most people my age are planning vacations, I'm spending my time for fighting for survival of my cattle farm. I'm here because a massive data center was approved just a couple of miles from my land, Project Cell, and I'm being hounded by Georgia Power for an easement to build transmission lines through my property for the FET data center. I'm a local farmer, not an industrial developer. These 500 kV lines aren't for me. They are for the data centers that the boards and surrounding counties continue to approve. I have mail from lawyers stacking up on my kitchen table wanting to take my case because they know my land is being targeted for eminent domain. Okay, let's see. I shouldn't have to worry about the specific wording of a legal contract just to keep my own land from being industrialized. When the FET data center was first brought up, it should have been brought attention to all that would be impacted. I did not have a voice to speak my mind, and that feels like an infringement on my First Amendment rights. These easements are permanent. They affect my ability to graze my cattle, they lower my property value, and they destroy the rural character of this county forever. This board makes decisions to approve these massive projects, but it's residents like me, young people trying to build a life here, who pay the price. You're voting to turn our farms into a network of high voltage wires and noisy industrial buildings. I'm asking you to realize the real world impacts of your votes. Every time you say yes to a data center, you're saying no to a local farmer. We aren't just numbers on a map. We are the future of the county, and right now you're making that future impossible. Respectfully, take that cow off the logo. Thank you, and I do have bigger fish to fry.
Okay, so we're going to see how this all ends up. But BB Me says many data centers have been stopped too. We'll see. A lot of times we get told something and then it ends up not holding true. So we'll see how all that goes. I think just because something doesn't get passed doesn't mean it just suddenly goes away. So they're either going to have to find another spot in the area, or they're not done with that piece of property that we think has moved on. So we've got to kind of keep an eye on some of that kind of stuff and see how it goes, because the need in that area doesn't just go away. And so do we really think it's just going to stop? And so I don't believe that for a second. Okay, so we're going to move on. I've got a couple of more things I wanted to go over. This is crazy. This is in Iceland. I told producer Ron that I was waiting for the woman to pull out, what did I say, a country ham? Okay, so this is a market and that these women are in at the time that this happens. It's in Iceland. So take a look. The guy's like, who's first? And so take a look.
Everybody go back inside. Yeah, stop right there, and take out everything. Everything. So ready, guys? Who first? Who we doing first? Who taking out first? Hey, this way, this way. You're gonna take out.
No, take everything out.
Take out. Listen, turn to me.
Turn.
Yeah, take out. Take out.
No, no.
Hello.
Turn.
You're gonna turn facing me. Facing me. Facing me. Take out. Sorry, step back for me. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Yep. 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 Sir, I said operate the door. Boss, stop, follow me and film. Operate the door. This is for evidence. Control the door. It's 3 people.
Jesus Christ.
Security, that's what happened when you on break. All right, your turn now.
Oh, yeah, your turn.
Put urine over here. Put urine right there. Hello? Step back. Can you go back some more? Yeah. Yeah, take out urine now. Hello? Can you face me?
Face you.
Face me. I need you to face me. Yeah.
Face, look up.
Yeah, go now. Hello? Can you face me?
Look face. Up
Yeah,
there.
go now.
Yeah, open it. When you're checking it, hey, look up when you're checking up. Hey, bring up and look up.
Wait, we soon do you next.
Wait.
You wait. We're gonna do you next. So that's your own, yeah? So everybody need to have ID. Everybody need to have ID. Alright, you done your one? Your time now, madam. Can you put yours separate for me? Yep. 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 Yep.
Che cazzo, sto facendo sto che? Sto facendo che cosa sto fianco? Sta na dem pat pali da che kamenka de.
Okay, the video keeps going. They keep pulling stuff out. You see why I said producer Ron, I was waiting for her. I was waiting for one of these women to pull out a country ham. Like, this is crazy. Let's see. I saw where was it KM Sunshine says, oh, it was Christ believer. She says, how can she even walk? Right? Yeah, these people have no shame. I don't even know. I don't even know. Now, you know how we're always talking about assimilation, right? Like, they don't come here to assimilate, you know, and all this kind of stuff. Okay, so this video is not brand new. Many of you have probably seen it before, but it's an oldie but a goodie, and we need to remember that we heard it straight from this woman's mouth, who is a Muslim woman, and she's discussing their Muslim objectives. Let's take a listen.
American melting pot. We do not want to melt into American society and disappear. We want to go into American society with Islamic ideals and revamp their thinking. We want to revamp them. We want to turn them into Muslim individuals. We shouldn't have feelings of a distaste for them or intolerance because they're potential Muslim. Education is one of the most important areas that Muslims have to address. And while our objective, our final objective, is not just to become part of the system that we experience now and that we see, our final objective, is to create our own Islamic systems, and not only create Islamic systems for Muslims, but to look at all the other people who are sharing this country with us as potential Muslims. And in that long-range process of making America Muslim, all of America.
Okay, so did you catch the part where she says they're potential Muslims? Who's she talking about? She's talking about us. They have no plans to assimilate. There's a reason they're not assimilating. Okay, assimilation, forget it. There's a reason. That's part of the plan. It's not like they accidentally forgot. They planned it that way. Okay. And so it's very important to remember that. Okay. So I was watching this Today Show clip and I thought it was very interesting. You can miss it if you don't pay attention. So we're going to play the video and then I'll mention it and then we'll play it again so you can catch it. Listen real carefully. Okay, producer Ron. The trans athlete one.
And at this point, I believe they're just seeking a public humiliation ritual for the girls. I mean, really, it's probably one of the most abusive things that you can do to a young woman. These are, again, 14, 15, 16-year-old girls. You are minimizing their accomplishments. You are asking them to stand aside, to smile, to applaud the boy, to deny reality and pretend that it's all okay. What is that? It is psychological abuse on full display. And then you have these young girls who are being forced to write speeches or go on Fox News or speak out for their basic rights because the governor of California and CIF won't protect them. So it's heartbreaking that the adults have failed them in the way that they have.
Okay, so a couple of things. The main thing, I'll cover the other things after we rewatch it. So if you don't know, you don't know. So I want to make sure that we call this out. And it's where she says public humiliation ritual. Okay, let's watch it again and you'll catch it. And we're going to talk about it when we come back. I think producer Ron missed the part where I said we were going to replay it.
And at this point, I believe they're just seeking a public humiliation ritual for the girls. I mean, really, it's probably one of the most abusive things that you can do to a young woman. These are, again, 14, 15, 16-year-old girls. You are minimizing their accomplishments. You are asking them to stand aside, to smile, to applaud the boy, to deny reality and pretend that it's all okay. What is that? It is psychological abuse on full display. And then you have these young girls who are being forced to write speeches or go on Fox News or speak out for their basic rights because the governor of California and CIF won't protect them. So it's heartbreaking that the adults have failed them in the way that they have.
Yeah. Okay, so public humiliation rituals. I know that many of you have seen them, but you may not know that's what they're called or what you're seeing. So I wanted to make sure, I thought it was a perfect example to address this. So, when you see a man at an awards thing and a very manly man, and they're in a dress like the Met Gala stuff, or like I've seen the photo many times of John Cena, the wrestler, the movie star, where he's in the like real short skirt and he's out on the street. He's not even like at a gala or whatever, but that is what is called a public humiliation ritual. Okay. And so, or they're in a movie and they had to dress like that and, they're cross-dressing. There's been a lot of stuff said even about it going all the way back to I say all the way back, but back into the 80s where Dustin Hoffman played Tootsie and he dressed as a woman and we all laughed and thought it was funny, but it's actually part of it. Or Martin Lawrence in Martin, where he was Shanae, the character Shanae, and he dressed as a woman. And so there are all different kinds of examples of this where men are doing that. Kevin Hart has dressed as a woman. So these movie roles are written. And of course, we know that Hollywood is part of the programming and the desensitizing of a man dressing as a woman, which is completely not in alignment with the Word of God. And so it's not funny if you really think about it and you realize what's really going on. And so, but these are intentional public humiliation rituals. It's satanic. It's their way to move up. It's all this different stuff. They're pushing their agenda, which is not God's agenda. It's all, dark, demonic, evil, all that kind of stuff. So I wanted to point that out. She's saying, and I thought this was such a great way to say it too. She talked about these girls, they're being forced to deny reality. That's why I have refused. Well, I've refused to call men women and women men for many reasons. But one of them is because it's not reality. So you're asking me to lie, and I'm not going to lie for you. Like that's your problem, not mine. But no, I'm not going to go by your pronouns or whatever. Like God didn't make a mistake, and so I'm just not going to participate. That's how I go with it. Is I'm just not participating in your nonsense, and so or the crazy depends on how I feel that day as to how I respond or refer to it. It's either the crazy or the nonsense. But and then also, I'm not interested in redefining marriage. Okay. I'm not interested in redefining what a man is or what a woman is. Like God already did all that. Like, and I am not going to have to be held accountable for that stuff one day when my judgment day comes. Like, no, because that's, I believe, will be a big thing to have to account for. And so I'm not I'm not interested in redefining anything or reestablishing what makes somebody a man, a woman, or what makes marriage. Like God has already defined all of that. And again, he doesn't make mistakes. So that's where I'm at. So I'm not going to deny reality because that's lying. And I'm just not going to do that. And so I keep it very basic because I think a lot of times we try to complicate things and we think it's complicated when it's really very simple. The answers are very, no, thank you. Yeah, I don't need a mask, not participating. We don't wear those. I have a God-given right to breathe unrestricted, fresh, free air. And so, I mean, it's very simple stuff. And so they want to complicate it because in that is the manipulation. And so we need to make sure we understand who we are and whose we are. And a lot of times that's all we need. And then it becomes the answers and the responses from us become very basic and very simple. And so that's the point. They want to complicate it. It's not complicated. It's just like the lady was complicating the insert to the drug, the pokey pokey, that the woman was wanting to know about. That the woman was able to give a shot, but she wasn't able to tell you what was in it. She wasn't able to hand you the handout, but she wants to make it complicated for the mama to see what's in the shot. See how it works? They want to complicate it. They want to say things and wordsmith and all that. They want to complicate. Is it 10 years old? Is it 4 years old? They want to move. They want always moving the goalpost around. When pedophilia is pedophilia. I mean, what did I say? Pedophile sicko. I mean, it's very simple. He's a pedophile sicko. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's very simple. It's very simple. Don't get drug into their craziness and all their wordsmithing and all their lies and all that kind of stuff when God has already defined these things. And so we already know what's right. We already know what's wrong. We just need to make sure that we know what's right and we know what's wrong per God. We're not interested in making those definitions. They've already been made. And so we don't make the rules. We just report the rules, And so that's one of the things that I like to say. I didn't write the scriptures. I just follow the scriptures, to the best of my ability and try to be obedient to them and walk in that obedience with according to what God's calling me to do for the plans and the purposes that he has on me and my life. Okay. So yeah. And it's psychological abuse. A lot of it is wearing people down so that they just go along to get along. And I remember, I heard the Holy Spirit during the whole slowing of the spread. One day I heard the Holy Spirit say, where in my word did I say to go along to get along? And I was like, nowhere, God. Exactly. And that's all I heard. I heard exactly. And then a week later, I had a weak moment, and it was the only time that I thought, am I just not picking my battles? Maybe maybe we should wear a mask, And I was immediately reminded of the week before where God had said to me, the Holy Spirit said, where in my word does it say to go along to get along? Nowhere. It does say, though, that we should stand on what's true and right. And that is, I wasn't going to act like a mask is going to help me when it doesn't. And so I'm just not going to walk in that stupidity. I'm not going to do that to make someone else feel good. And then I already knew that it could actually make me sick, And so it was like, well, you're expecting a chain link fence to keep a mosquito in your backyard. That just doesn't work. And so your stupidity is not my problem. Like, I'm not going to go along to get along with this stuff. This is nonsense. And it's very simple. It was very simple back then. It's still very simple. And I hope this is helping. It was so good. Okay. So Die Laughing says, OMG, so much crazy filth. I'm going to burst a blood vessel in my brain. I'm so exasperated, Ark. Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy. Shoplifting is so bad, WR Carr says. That one, that's true. That's one reason why prices are higher. Well, I mean, I think a lot of reasons the prices are higher is because, well, gosh, I mean, everybody's getting food for free and we're having to foot the bill. My husband worked for Atwood's for a little while, and he would follow suspicious people around. When they couldn't steal, they left. I bet. Oh my gosh. So just, that was, and then she also made a comment about, in that interview, about basic rights. I think it's a basic right to tell the truth and live in truth. And, and it's not okay to expect me to lie and go along with your lie. I'm just not going to do that. And so I'm not going to do it, period. And it's, one thing I learned years ago, and I've always remembered this, and a lot of people need to learn this, and that is, no is a complete answer. Like, I don't owe somebody a reason, excuse, an explanation, whatever you want to call it, about why I'm not going to do something. Oh, can you do such and such for me? No. Do you want to go do such? No. I don't have to. Well, I haven't really. No. It's just no. No. Thanks, though. I mean, we don't owe, and I think women sometimes can over, like, the I'm sorry thing. Have you ever been around women that I'm sorry, oh, I'm sorry, and it's like, stop apologizing. It's saying I'm sorry, and you're not even, like, really sorry. You just say I'm sorry because you're just trying to people please or something. It's like, stop it. And so women are the worst at that, and it does nobody any favors. Okay, so just, we have to be, I don't know, confident and fine in our own skin. And I think women sometimes are like, it's a form of people pleasing or something. It's weird. Okay, so I saw this video. It's on 9/11, 2 firefighters. I don't think I've seen this video before. And so I came across it, and, we try to save things like this, and producer Ron, please save this one, because I'm sure I'll want to pull this video back out on September the 11th of this year. We always do a September 11th tribute, but listen to these firemen and what they're saying. And you can tell this is going on. It's active, and a building just collapsed. So listen to what they say.
It was an explosion. He was in the lobby, and the third explosion, the whole lobby collapsed on us.
What was it like?
The whole building just collapsed inside the lobby.
Was that a secondary explosion?
Yes, it was.
That was the...
Yeah, definitely secondary explosion. But we was inside waiting to go upstairs. And on the way upstairs, the whole thing blew. And we just collapsed and everybody inside the lobby.
How much of the first one was coming down secondary?
I don't know about the first one, but I know the second was, it was hell. Then there was a third one too after that one. Yes. Everybody was inside the elevator waiting to go upstairs. And they just let loose. Everything just let loose inside the building.
So what you told me is that there was a plane or whatever hit the building and then a secondary explosion.
There was like 3 explosions after that. We came in after the fire. We came when the fire was going on already. We was in the staging area inside the building, waiting to go upstairs. The whole lobby collapsed on the lobby inside.
Just AM after that?
Just man, everybody trying to work their way out.
Trying to help all the brothers get out.
A lot of people trapped inside.
I was sitting in the Brooklyn Navy Yard. We watched the first explosion. As we watched the building, so a black, very large airplane fly right into the second building. Came out of the south, right in front of our eyes. It was so surreal, like a movie set. Second and third explosion. We were in the building for the third one. It collapsed. It was on this drive here for the other one.
People don't understand. There may be more. Any one of these buildings could blow up. This ain't done yet.
This is going to top of this. That could be no worse than this. Could be nothing no more than that. You're in the building trying to help people, and it's exploding on the inside of the building.
Reminds me of the gentleman, I saw a video a couple of years ago. He was a gentleman who worked in the Trade Center towers, and apparently there were parking garages below, like many levels below the buildings. And I didn't necessarily know that. I mean, it makes sense, of course, but because where people going to park that work in the building? But he was talking about being down. He was doing something with trash or something, and he was like down on the lower level, third floor, fourth floor, somewhere around there. And he was talking about 30 minutes before, maybe an hour, somewhere around there. I think it was like 20 to 30 minutes before, he felt an explosion happen below him. He says, so there were many levels down, even below him, and he was like second or third under the towers down in the parking garage. So I thought that was very interesting. He says, and so his point was there were explosions that were happening prior to the buildings being hit, and to weaken the foundation of the buildings. And so I thought that was very interesting. And this video reminded me of that man's video. I haven't seen it since. I've looked because I would love to show it on 9/11 and discuss it. But when I saw this, I definitely wanted you to see it. Since I hadn't seen it, I thought, well, there may be some people that have seen today's show that hadn't seen it, and I wanted to make sure you have. Okay, so we've got one more video that we're going to share with you today. This guy is it's so true. Okay, so you want to see someone's true colors? Do this one thing. Let's look.
God. If you want to see somebody's true colors, bring up God. People can seem like the nicest people in the entire world. Mention God, and then tell me, are they still nice? The name of Jesus literally changes an entire atmosphere. You will see who is for him and who is against him. You will see a shift in dynamics. You will see a shift in how people treat you. You will see the true colors of people when Jesus Christ is mentioned. I've had a lot of people want to get to know me. I've had a lot of friends, and I won't even call them friends because they weren't friends. We were all cool and dandy, and they liked being around me. And then God gets mentioned because, of course, I can't deny God in my life. I'll never deny God in my life. I'll never shrink back to make you feel comfortable or to try and agree with your world beliefs. I believe and I know that Jesus Christ is the truth. I can't deny that, and I won't try to. So if you bring it up, because typically, and that's how God will work, he will have people bring up God to you when you are his follower, because he wants you to share the gospel with him. And he also wants to show you people's true character. He wants to show you people's true colors and who they really are. And as soon as I bring up God, or as soon as I start talking about God, the veil is lifted. You see that demon that is on them working through them. You see how they start to get angry, and they start talking about God, and they start talking about how God is evil. Oh, don't bring up God if you don't want to lose people. Don't bring up Jesus if you don't want certain people to leave your life or to stop talking to you. Because the hatred of God is real. The disdain towards God is real, and it's very scary. But God will reveal those people's true intentions and those people's true colors to you, because he doesn't want them in your life. He does not want people who do not belong in your life to stay around. He doesn't want you to keep them around. Your mission is too big. They would be distractions. A lot of times they're sent by the enemy to get you off course, to lead you back into sin, to get you to deter from the path that God has you on. But God will use his very essence to expose the truth, to expose the lies, or to expose the facade. So if you want to know someone's true colors, mention God, mention Jesus, and watch the room change.
It's so true. It's so true. I'm laughing though, because producer Ron wrote me a note. He says God's people also love chips. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's funny, Ron. Okay. I mean, come on, that's funny. I was sitting there thinking maybe I should, I don't know, like eat chips sometimes. What is going on? That was so interesting. I wonder if he eats chips in all of his videos. So now I'm wondering about him. Oh my word, that's so funny. I love it. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed today's show, learned a thing or two, got fired up about something, I don't know. Lots of things going on. I know that Steve Jarvis will be here on Monday. Mark is still, he's got a lot on his plate, of course. And so but Steve will be here Monday. And he's been texting me all morning, like all day. Steve's all fired up about all kinds of things. So I'm sure we'll have all kinds of things to talk about on Monday. But anyways, and so I hope you've enjoyed today's show. I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see you right here next time on the Michelle Moore Show.
Ever read the ingredients on your everyday products and think, wait, is this shampoo or a science experiment? If your lotion needs a translator, a lab coat, and a warning label, it might be time for a change. Godly Granny products are made with purpose, love, and ingredients you can actually recognize. No mystery chemicals, no toxins, just clean, simple goodness. The way Granny would have wanted. Because your skincare shouldn't require a chemistry degree. From shampoo, lotion, skincare, and all natural health remedies, Godly Granny has everything your family needs. It's no wonder we have over 1,200 5-star reviews from our amazing customers to prove it. Join the families just like yours who've switched to Godly Granny. Visit godlygranny.com and sign up for our emails to receive a special discount code for 10% off your first order, plus exclusive updates and information on newly released products.
Hi, I'm Linda Bamber Olson, the inventor of the Wave Watch, the world's first frequency therapy watch. It features over 1,100 targeted frequencies combined into 150 playlists for ease of use. These sounds are acoustical and they move through your body, through your skin and your bones. You don't necessarily have to hear it. As each frequency goes through, it can be realigning, revitalizing, reconnecting, and even rebalancing your body all the way to the cellular level. So that's why we have so many testimonies for aches, ADD and ADHD, allergies, colds and flu, dental, emotions, headaches, joints, kidney stones, nerves, organs, skin health, swelling, tremors, vagus nerve, and so many more. Use this code for $100 off when you purchase the Wave Watch. Thanks for learning about frequencies, using them, and supporting the Wave Watch.
Mr. Wonderful here. I back businesses I trust with my money. Like Universal Coin and Bullion, America's gold expert. They've been trusted by collectors and investors for decades with award-winning education, industry-leading specialists, and a reputation built on transparency and results. If you're serious about investing in precious metals, call Universal Coin and Bullion today.
For Michelle's social media links, go to MichelleMooreShow.com.